This one was a really fun one to read this week. Is that the rumor are the main characters in this to lead this film? We talked about it being a smaller group. Have been decided as Captain America Sam Wilson, Spider-Man, Moon Knight, the Hulk, and She-Hulk. Not 3 of these I would have guessed. The other 2 probably not, Mike. She-Hulk and Moon Knight out of left field for me.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting double Hulks, but it does kind of make narrative sense that if one of them's there, like, we know the other one exists. They have cell phones and can call each other. So I would imagine writing a script with 2 Hulks could be fun. You know, they could really cause some destruction, but you had got some big heavy hitters there. So you're going to have a big villain to go up against, you know, that requires 2 Hulks. That can be really fun. Spider-Man, I mean, that I feel like you could do some really fun stuff with Spider-Man finally properly being in the Avengers, because I can't even remember all of his little quips but he was always kind of like talking about, oh, do I finally get to be an Avenger, blah blah blah. I don't remember if that came up in Infinity War or Endgame. Was he ever officially donned an Avenger at any point in time?
I think maybe Endgame. I think when he came back from the dusting kind of thing. But yeah, like they never really didn't have a knighting ceremony for the Avengers for that.
Yeah, so that could be fun, kind of seeing him established in this. Maybe that kind of takes him away from this supposed Young Avengers project, you know?
Oh, I don't think he'd be part of that.
Up out of it, yeah. I guess maybe you can't be in the Young Avengers if you've gone through your own trilogy and so much emotional turmoil. You've emotionally been elevated to the hardcore Avengers.
You've been in 3 of your own movies, and then 2 Avengers, and then Captain America 3, which is like Avengers 2.5. So yeah, he can lead a team now. I think he's good to go.
Yeah, I mean, the best part when Spider-Man ever shows up in the comic books to like an Avengers like a meetup or like, you know, anything in like a Stark Tower or something, he's always like, oh, how do all of you have money? I'm still struggling to like pay my rent. Like, when's the paycheck? That I always thought that was really funny.
He's always doing it for a paycheck. He's a superhero, but he's like, yeah, I'm gonna need money to work with you guys too, kind of deal.
Yeah, he was just always so out financially classed by everyone else on the team, which always humored me. I mean, Moon Knight, I still have I have a mixed relationship. It's complicated with me and Moon Knight. Loved his first 2 episodes. Didn't like anything else after that. The character is cool. You know, he's super powered, so he fits in the team. You know, he's already better off than Hawkeye was, or Black Widow.
He also has the I guess the ability, the other realms, right? Like different multiverses, if you will, like where the creatures exist and power their avatars in Earth kind of deal.
Yeah,
which is multiversal.
He could kind of, I could see him maybe just kind of having paranormal insight in a way, like where like if something is kind of being freaky, you know, he could kind of like weigh in of like, oh, I've come across something freaky like this before. Let me give you my insight. I mean, the biggest thing here, unfortunately, that me and you, Chris, we've talked about a lot on this show is is the new Captain America, right? It has nothing to do with a different person taking the helm or, you know, Chris Evans not being involved in war. We just don't, something about Anthony Mackie, just the Twisted Metal show, like something about his personality just does not scream leading
I'm sure he's a great
to
guy.
us. Yeah.
As a person,
even if he's not a great guy, like he could be the worst guy in the world, but like he's just not leading to me, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is about him. You know, like anyone else in the role, maybe. Honestly, maybe it's not his fault. Maybe it's a big mantle to fill, and whoever's that first person in there is just never going to work. But the last time I saw the guy, I just don't know if he's leading the whole team. And maybe, who knows, that's the story of the whole Avengers 5.
And I guess here's the thing is Avengers 5 characters, definitely not. Captain America is probably what the U.S. government sanctioned hero in this event, right? Like everybody else doesn't seem to really be sanctioned by the government. So he's like, you know, the U.S. sent me here to handle this kind of deal, right? This event. And maybe that's where he comes off at.
Is he like the Rick Flag of
pretty,
this group, the only
kinda,
one authorized with the reports and the files?
Isn't like Spider-Man, no one knows his real identity anymore, right? We got that through Doctor Strange. Moon Knight is kind of a, I guess, world-hopping character. Like, I don't remember him being in America at all in his show. Like, it was very much Europe and Egypt-based. So he's got that. The Hulk is the scientist, originally hunted by the government. Now probably one of the remaining, maybe the I guess the last Avenger proper, if you will, like who's been working out of the Avengers Tower or Avengers facility campus and doing stuff for Tony Hawk. And then She-Hulk, obviously, a lot of baggage for people just not liking She-Hulk, and that's fine. Same with Moon Knight. Moon Knight and She-Hulk came out of the Bob Chapek era of Disney Plus, right? We can both attest, like, those shows were rushed to production and rushed to get out, and whether you like them or not, it's fine. Like, you can feel that at the end of the day, right? Like, they don't really have an idea. They were just said, make a character to make a character. We need more content, and it kind of feels like, you mentioned Moon Knight doesn't really have a home. She-Hulk, great humor, great small episodes, some fun stuff, but like, how do we fit her in here? If this is the case and these are the characters, I'm intrigued. Where is Doctor Strange to me, right? Like, that is interesting. Where is your super heavy hitter with Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel? They are, two huge powers. Had one of the most recent movies. Maybe that's why they're a little later. There's a lot of other choices, but these are 5 characters I would not have ever picked out of a lineup. If you said pick your next 5 Avengers, pick 5 characters in the MCU that are still alive, and those are your next Avengers. These are not the 5 I would have chosen, and that might be the dynamic that works at the end of the day, right? 5 very opposite ends rather than one cohesive unit at the end of the day. So I'm excited to see if this is true and if that comes out of that. Now, the other asterisk on this rumor is that the Kang variant, but not Jonathan Majors, is rumored to still be the main threat at this point in time. They may have found a legal loophole to recast Kang, Mike, at this point in time, which may be fun. Or, maybe whatever, Jonathan Majors' contract was nullified, and maybe they can work this in now. Because they've got, until the end of this year to start filming it, really. So that would be interesting to see which Kang variant they choose to fight these 5 Avengers. I mean, any takers, any ideas on that one?
I'm always just thinking, like, is there any like legal line that's like no other person can play live action Kang, and they're like, we'll just make him fully CG. We'll Thanos this.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you could do that. I think honestly, if you just said it's someone else's name, and it's not Kang, right? Like, they could have said Victor Timely and not had Jonathan Majors, because technically on paper it's not Kang, right? So this is interesting. This rumor is interesting. I just never would have picked these 5, and if it's still a version of Kang, what are they fighting? How are we going to get to Secret Wars at the end of this? Because Secret Wars is obviously the bigger title, and that's where we're going to begin. Coming up next is Secret Wars. The rumor is